Yeah.
To submit the chart by the end of July. Not the end of July, the beginning of July. Still out of weeks, so now that paper was accepted and it was published, it was accepted like by the IEEE and everything. Now they want to extend it to journals. They requested us to extend it. Instead of us extending it by ourselves.
We can move our waters.
They wanted to be published. So we're gonna make the improvements.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome. Can everyone hear me okay, or do I need the mic? Is that okay? Yeah, okay, fantastic. Well, great to meet you all. My name is Carlota. I'm one of the startup leads at Google Cloud. So I work with high potential startups, scale-ups, from every background, every funding round. We've seen it all. And hopefully we can just bring some of the learnings that we're seeing in the field to you all today. The main goal of the session is to show you how we can go from an idea to an MVP very, very quickly, how we can use things like vibe coding, which I'm sure we've all heard, and also share a little bit about our startup programs in case you have any ideas that you've already been working on. I've heard a few in some parts of the room already, and we can make this as interactive as you all like. Feel free to ask questions. We're essentially here to help. So thank you for being with us, and maybe let's get started with a quick introduction to who we are.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name's Allison. I am a customer engineer on the startups team at Google Cloud. So what that means is that I help startup customers with their questions that they have about cloud. How do these things work? How do I architect this? Where should I go to build things? How do I get capacity? Those are the kind of things I work with. I've been at Google doing this for the last 6 years, and I was at Amazon before that.
Amazing. Allison and I actually work together. We cover New York City and Connecticut startups, so she's not selling herself as amazing as she's the best engineer we have at Google. That's why she's here with us today. And she does all of our demos for all of our customers, so I think you're all gonna see some great things and some good products that you can take away with you. So I'm Carlota, as I mentioned. I work with high potential scale-ups and startups. My goal is essentially more to help on the commercial side of things, so I'll help startups navigate the startup programs that we have, see how we can support them get to their next funding round, see if there's any go-to-market strategy that we can do with Google, and if we can find some synergies between what the startup is doing and their mission, and then what we're doing at Google internally, and if there's any introductions, if there's any sort of events we can do together. That's kind of where I come in for that commercial strategy side of things. Amazing. So, agenda for today, we're going to briefly touch on our Google for Startups program. This will ensure that no matter where you all are in terms of either your startup journey, or if you have any ideas that you want to play around with for this session, you'll get a bit of a sense of how Google can help depending on that stage and what you're looking for. There's different credits available, different mentorship programs that we offer, so just want to make sure that you leave the session with that information too as a potential next step. Then we're going to move into AI Studio. How many of you have heard of AI Studio? Okay, great. Fantastic. So we're going to look into AI Studio with Allison. We're going to do a MVP with vibe coding and essentially show how simple it is to go from that idea to MVP through a 20-minute workshop. So hopefully you can take those tools with you, apply them to your own ideas, and get started with it. Great. Google for Startup program. Has anyone heard of Google for Startup program before? Okay. Has anyone been a part of the Google for Startup program before? Okay, great. our startup program is broken down essentially depends on where you are in your journey. So whether you are a newer startup or whether you have been in the market for a longer time, and also what funding you have received. So if you are a bootstrap startup, you very, very likely are eligible for our $2,000 start tier. This will give you $2,000 to get started with our Google Cloud solutions. So that means you can use these credits on AI Studio, you can use it on cloud storage, you can use it on all of our Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform solutions. So whether you want to look at our image models or our video models, that's all something that will be covered by these credits, as well as your regular cloud products that you can think of. So it's a great way to get started. It's a great way to start building. And then once you've raised your first round of funding, you would be likely eligible for our 100K tier or our 250K tier. So this is for startups that are looking to grow and scale their architecture along with their business. So this is more what we're thinking about. How do we acquire new customers? What is our relationship between our cloud spend and our new customer acquisition? And how do we go to market with Google Cloud? This is when these credits really, really become very important, and we try and support our founders with those costs by supporting with these credits. Once we're past this stage of validation and growth, we move into what we call expansion. So this means that you've already used all of your credits and you've been part of our program, you've received our mentorship, and then what we do is we go into commitment contracts. What these are is essentially private agreements that we build with all of you, and they are more specialized to your needs. So if you're like, hey, Alice and Carlota, we're only going to be using your Gemini models, what special pricing can we get? That's where we would come in with our teams and build a plan specifically for these scenarios, as well as that go-to-market piece that we were talking about. How do we help you guys acquire customers? How do we put you in front of the right people internally? And essentially be your advocates internally at Google. Fantastic. So this is where I'm going to pass it over to Alison. I think there's three main parts of the session that we want to start to think about. The first one is, what do we build with? The second piece is, where do we learn? Where do we go if we want to learn new documentation, new product updates, potential cookbooks? And then finally, how do we apply to these credits? And whenever you have some time at home, we start looking into this in depth and apply these takeaways of today.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to start by talking about AI Studio. And I know I saw a lot of hands about that. But does anyone feel that they can tell me the difference between the Gemini web app, AI Studio, Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, formerly Vertex AI? Oh, we have a few. Okay, cool. So the reason I say that is because this can get very confusing, especially to startups, because we have many different entry points into our AI tools. So today we're going to be using AI Studio, which is targeted for developers to start building rapidly. We see that customers tend to start building in this and then move into Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform once they have moved into production, because that's kind of where we can start procuring better quotas for companies. So I just like to state that up front, that this is a really great development platform that we're going to be using today. And then, of course, the web app, that's just what you find when you Google Gemini, and it's the cute little web app that comes up for you. Okay. So as I said, AI Studio really lets you get started super fast. So I actually made an entirely new Google account last night. It's just a regular Gmail user's account that I'm going to be demoing this on. This is not on anything internal, just so that y'all can get the experience of what it's like to set this up. The two things that I have done before this is I put in my credit card number because I really didn't want any of y'all using my credit card. And I put in my phone number because I don't need a ton of text messages. Other than that, I clicked 2 check boxes, and this is a completely clean account. So why do we suggest starting with AI Studio? And that's kind of what you're going to see today, is that the overhead of setting up a cloud project, understanding the IAM permissions, and getting all of that built out can be kind of cumbersome in the beginnings and not necessarily necessary when you're a 1 or 2 person company. So AI Studio bridges that gap and lets you start building very rapidly without all of that overhead. In fact, at I/O, they've launched some new features that let you start building even faster that should be coming out of the pipeline very shortly. So yeah, basically we're going to sign in, we're going to select our model, and we're going to get our API key. You don't even need to get the API key anymore. That slide's old as of about a week ago. It'll figure that all out for us. So today we're going to be vibe coding apps. So I'm assuming most everyone in this room has some level of experience with vibe coding. Fair? Okay, cool. So I will skip over that. One of the cool newer features of AI Studio is that it will actually spin up a database for you. So it will make a Firebase database inside of Google Cloud, and that will help you manage and store the data. This is a newer feature if you haven't used it. We will be building an app today that uses that. And then at the end, we're going to launch it to Cloud Run. So Cloud Run is our scalable solution. It's basically a box that you can put your app into that will scale up and down as big or small as needed to manage the traffic. And this will deploy directly to that during our event today, and then everyone will be able to use the application on their phone until I shut it down later this evening or we run out of credits if y'all start hammering it. So I gave y'all no warning, but someone pitched me an app idea that has no private third-party APIs, please, just so that we don't have to set anything else up. Some examples of what we've done in the past at events was we made an app that generated knitting patterns based on a picture of anything knitted, and it would tell you all the materials and supplies you needed. An app to save coupons for local businesses all in one place, and then an app to monitor plant health via photos. So if anyone has some ideas, I'm open to hearing a few ideas, and we'll pick what we're going to vibe code today. Yeah?
This one may be a little more complicated than we can do now, but an app that monitors the content on a website, monitors keywords and prices of ads on those keywords, and then creates a ad marketing platform.
Okay. We could definitely do that, but we don't have time to set up all those APIs. So,
But
yeah.
Creates an image with an embedded, that looks like something but has an embedded QR code.
Okay. Let's do that. Oh, we have one? Yeah.
Design a drug molecule for a particular condition with certain like limitations on its molecular properties, especially related to its, say, toxicity or solubility, etc.
Okay. Anyone else have an idea? Oh, okay.
love
I'll take two more, and then I'll pick which one sounds the most feasible at the moment. Yes.
A text to image generator that focuses on physical product development. So if you have an idea for a physical product, it will help you ideate that and then turn it into an isometric picture of
That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna take two more. I lied. I'll do you and I'll go to you.
Let's say give the AI some satellite image and some text and use for social media to let it guess or interpret the changes or the driver of the changes for a single location.
Okay.
This is totally in left field, away from all. What about an app that can generate multiple outfit ideas based on a group picture?
Was
Something
based on a
easy.
group picture?
Or whatever, or one picture, just outfit ideas from a few pieces, a few images.
Alison's like, what can we do in the next?
Well, I was like, we can take a picture of this whole room and make
Well,
a new
that too,
outfit.
something
That's
simple.
cool.
Okay, sorry.
App that where you can take photos of your handwriting and it helps you generate a font.
Okay.
Wow.
That'd
Okay.
be cool. Okay.
Alison, one quick question.
Yeah.
Out of all the ideas that were said, maybe some are more difficult than others, but what would you say the time span that it would take you to vibe code these would be?
Vibe code.
Maybe we can't do them right
Yeah,
now.
we're not
What
gonna do
would that
vibe
be?
code all of
Just to
them.
give an idea of how simple it would be to go from idea
I mean,
to
I think the generating QR code could be a simple option. And then I think the outfit one, because that does incorporate, like we'll integrate with the camera, we'll get a sign-in going, we can have a database of clothes. I think that sounds good for this kind of setup. So we'll probably do that.
Amazing.
But most of these applications outside of setting up third-party APIs, right? Because if you want to access, like if you want to set up ads and you want to do that kind of stuff, you're going to have to get permissions with those companies and set up all the payments. Other than that, these should all be pretty easy things to execute. Okay,
So what did you choose?
let's do the clothing one. Let's have fun. Why not? Okay, so yes, y'all can see it. I am in AI Studio now, and so just so y'all can see, that is not it. That's okay. Here it is. This is the new account that I made last night. It's just a normal Gmail account. So all of you guys, if you have a Gmail already, can just go sign in and do this. So we're gonna go to the build section. I'm gonna say build me a mobile app that And sorry guys, typing in front of people is really hard. Generate an outfit.
Just for reference to, if you can see the link there, aistudio.google.com. So you can all access that on your laptops too.
Okay, so I'll just change it to, we're going to start with a very open prompt because what we want to do is we want to kind of iterate through what we have. So I'm just going to give it a lot of free reign here and say, build me a mobile app that can generate an outfit idea based on a picture full of a room of people. Oh, and their personal styles. Okay, sure. Why not? I like when it types for me because I'm really bad at typing and I make a lot of typos. So right now it's going to start thinking about this and it's going to actually build out all the code files to generate this. And then it'll give us a few prompts along the way. It's going to ask me like, oh, which type of style do you want? So it'll break it down and we can pick that out. And then we'll be able to edit individual buttons and features of this using the prompting, or we can do it through code, whichever you prefer. I'm going to do it through prompting because typing in front of people is hard. And yeah, so okay, here we go. We can pick if we want it editorial, natural tones, immersive. Anyone want to pick for me which one we should do?
First one.
First one? Okay. That's our design. And so now, let's see if it's made them. Yeah, so here you can see it's going to start generating the code files for this. So you would be able to explore all of these code files once this is done being generated and make changes there. But we're going to mostly stay inside of the preview mode. Has anyone built an app this way before? Let's do something mixed back. Okay. Cool.
So it asks for like build me an Android app. So will this do that?
So
Like an access to like a Android SDK or
yes,
whatever?
so we announced that at I/O last week. Funnily enough, I don't have an Android phone on me, so we're going to do a web app. But yes, that one actually does, and you should be able to deploy it directly to your phone. I have not gotten to test it since it launched last week, but it sounds pretty cool, and if you do try it, let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
Can it do iOS as well, or is that?
Not at this moment, we just announced Android.
Can it build Android games?
If it's not for Android yet. Okay, sorry guys, it has to think for a little bit. This is the cheapest, freest version of our platforms. Yeah.
With the startup credits that you talked about at the beginning, does that apply to like other models like the new Omni stuff?
So it applies to all Google first-party models. So all of the Google models, yes, you can't use it on like Claude or something like that.
I mean more like the DeepMind, like video generation.
Anything inside of Google Cloud, yes. So like if you're in Flows, no, but if you're in VO, yes.
Okay.
It just depends on kind of where you're accessing it from.
I would say the easiest way to differentiate what's in there and what isn't. First, in the Google Cloud Startup Program, there's in the terms and conditions, you have a list of everything that is included. Second, if you go into Google Cloud Platform and you go into Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, formerly Vertex AI, you will have a whole list of foundation models. All of those you're completely covered by. And that does include VO, Imagine, Gemini, Pro, Flash, everything. I don't know about Gemini.
I think it should be.
It should be.
I would
don't
assume
know.
so.
Yeah, too new for us to know.
Yeah.
I noticed you're using the Flash model. Is that the recommended model for building apps?
That's a great question. It depends on what your goal is today. My goal today is to not sit here awkwardly for as long as possible with you guys. So I'm going to use a Flash model. I could have gone to an earlier Flash model, but that's fine. Generally, what I see people do is use a Pro when you don't need to. So I kind of say default back to a Flash, see how that works. If it doesn't work, then go up to the Pro, because it does take a lot more time and it's not always necessary.
Yeah.
Hey there. So I'm understanding that this will produce an app that is also hosted, so it can run basically.
Yes, we are going to actually host this application.
Is there, we can see the code base. Is there any like GitHub sort of integration, getting code out of it, or otherwise, wondering about the transportability of this output.
Yeah, so you're able to port all of the code out of it. I don't know if we have a GitHub connector at this time. I want to say we do, but don't quote me on it. But yeah, so you will be able to port it all out. It's actually going to all port into Cloud Run, and I'll go through showing you where to find that as well.
As we export the code, or even through here, can we open it with an anti-gravity?
Yeah.
So if we open it with an anti-gravity, then
Yeah.
from there, we have full access to GitHub.
Yes. Yeah. And they actually just announced anti-gravity inside of AI Studio last week as well. So depending on how they set that up, you might not even need to go out.
And sorry, again,
Is
there a specific stack that it tends to work with or prefers to work with, or can you?
You can specify what you want it to do.
Making progress. What is it building in right now?
That's a great question, whatever it decided to default to at this moment. I actually didn't specify anything for it.
That's using 3.5.
Yeah. We're on the newest model.
Yeah.
So to answer why we can't answer a lot of questions is because our biggest conference of the year was I/O last week. And that is where we announced a ton of our new launches and all of our new stuff. So a lot of things that y'all are hitting on are questions that people are like, oh, we really want this, and is it going to come out? And it all just came out at I/O. So we are still working on getting caught up on all of the launches that just happened there. But this is another good example as why I use Flash, just because a Pro would take a lot longer than this.
How's it going?
It's good, it's still working, I think. Yeah, see, we have a lot more code going on here now.
It's working.
So we are getting close.
Honestly, you would suggest probably not stopping any of this until the first kind of MVP is created, right? Like right now you can't have anything, you would be hard, right? Yeah, you wait until it's done.
Well, you could make a new chat feed.
You can? Yeah. And we'll take this into account. What do you mean?
Like, you could make, no, oh, you mean like here?
Right.
No, you can't do anything.
Okay,
Right. Yes. Okay, so those who have used AI Studio to vibe code before, what have you built with it? You want to?
A Python module to solve polynomials based on a paper that came out a year ago.
Nice. And did it work well for you?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I used it to create a wrist position detection device using magnetic Hall effect sensors in an Arduino.
Nice.
Wow.
What were you doing with that?
Working with a special education teacher to develop a writing tablet.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Working with special education.
Okay, cool. So now that we've stalled for long enough, it has built us an app here. So as you can see, as much as that felt like it took a long time, I don't think anyone in this room could have coded it faster than the AI could have. So we need to have a little appreciation for it. I feel like our appreciation for how fast this is as time goes on is diminishing so much. But anyway, so here's our app. It's Crowd Scout. Scans social gathered spaces, street mobs, or rooms full of distilled clothing. Archetypes, okay. And synthesized styling cards. So you know what? It didn't make a database for us. So I'm actually going to ask it to do that. Can you save the... Okay. So what I want it to do now is actually spin up a Firebase database for us so that things are connected there so that you can see all it's going to do over here is give me a pop-up asking me for permissions to allow it to set up Firebase. And we can kind of look at this while it's going, and I can show you some cool things about it. So over here, we actually have an edit button, which allows you to pick any specific element and ask it to change it. So for example, oh, here we go. Enable Firebase. So I'm just going to click enable. My database is being made for me. You can click on whatever you don't like. So say we didn't like something about this. When it's done thinking, it should, yeah, there we go. It'll port the element over here so that I can talk to it about that specific field and it knows exactly what I want changed. And that lets us do a lot more fine tuning on our changes than previously was able. Okay. What else should we talk about while we let it create a database?
What else should we talk about?
What are the limits on, say, the free Firebase database? Is it just one instance up to a certain size? Can you create a copy of it for a staging environment, another one for
Yeah.
a development environment?
I think that the Firebase one, if it hasn't changed on me, it should just be a certain amount of usage that is free. So it'll have a tier from 0 to X thousand number of reads that is free, and then beyond that, it is a paid service. Firebase used to work. Haven't checked its free tier in a while.
One other thing I think that we didn't clarify is to be considered a bootstrap company, as long as you have a registered business, you have a working website that shows who your team is, what your product is, or what your service is that you're offering, it's quite a straightforward way to get those $2,000 in credits. So I would say if you find this to, that you need a little bit more, that's probably the way I would go if you're, planning to just build that MVP. So I feel like that first tier is quite accessible for builders. I think there was a few questions.
So in this app, for example, is Gemini inbuilt for the end users in the app, or do we need to add in that feature?
No, so it would have connected to Gemini on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, there's a question just behind you, I believe.
So you answered part of it, but so if you're a registered small business, you have revenue coming in. Is this ecosystem more geared to people who are talking to like Y Combinator, or is it for like those small businesses, single person LLCs who are getting off the ground, but maybe not be on like Shark Tank or something?
So, great question. I would say that the bootstrap tier, we see a mix of everything, right? Because you don't need any VC funding to get into this tier. So you can be a one-person LLC, you can be in Y Combinator, you can be working with Sequoia, it doesn't matter. You're going to get access to this 2K. Once we move to the higher tiers of credits, that's when you need VC funding. So that's maybe when we start seeing that differentiation between the type of company and startups. Yes?
What are some of the considerations for IP? So if I have maybe a starter concept and then I upload a bunch of content, how siloed is that? And then also if it's using other information to generate product, what considerations are there?
Yeah, so in terms of your personal data, you have to be paying for it to not be trained on. So you have to select a paid account. And then if you're so that's for AI Studio. If you're in Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, we do not train on that data at all. So that's kind of how that works, is you have to be within a paid service for it.
And the credits, maybe to clarify, count towards paying for it. So if you're using Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform and you have the 2K of credits, the 100K of credits, 250K of credits here, that will count as the paid service because you qualify for those credits. So we're not going to harm you for using.
Hopefully this finishes in the next minute so we can publish it.
Showing this.
It's looking good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are just about out of time.
I know.
We used up all our time today on this. Okay. There we go. So let's go ahead and publish real quick. So to publish, we literally just clicked through and it's going to publish my app. So what it's doing right now in the back end is it's spinning up a Cloud Run instance for this to live on, and then it's going to pop out a URL for me that I'm going to be able to share with you guys so that you can actually put this on your phone and use it a little bit. It's got $10 on it, so if y'all try and use it a lot, it's just going to shut down. So let's be nice and let everyone just look at it. Please don't try and use it like crazy.